All right, WWE finally announced the brackets for this women's tag team tournament they've been talking about for the last month and a half. The question for me was, what do you think of the pairings involved, and who do you think is ultimately going to win this tournament? So I pulled up, I have a picture of these teams here. It's Tamina and Dana, which they're already eliminated. Io Sky and Dakota Kai, Alexa Bliss and Asuka, Nikki Ash and Doudrop, Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, Xia Li and Shotzi, Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark, Natalya and Sonya Deville. This is exactly what I said they needed to do. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I called this. Just start pairing people together. They don't need to be tag teams. Let's establish tag teams as we go. That's what they did here. I like the pairings. It makes sense. Alexa and Asuka was a natural pairing. They've been working together on TV. Nikki Ash and Doudrop have been a team. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, I believe there's a reason they're together. Xia Li and Shotzi, there's just a standard bad guy tag team. Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. I don't know a lot about Zoe Stark, but I know Nikita Lyons has drawn a lot of attention on social media. And Natalya and Sonya Deville, once again, just two solid heels. So how do I think this plays out? How do I think this tournament plays out? There's only one way to book this tournament. As far as I'm concerned, I can look at this tournament and with an extreme amount of confidence, I believe I know how this tournament should and will play out. And that is Io Sky and Dakota Kai. They already run their first match. Called it, knew that was happening. There was zero chance they weren't winning that match. Alexa and Asuka, they're going to beat Nikki ASH and Doudrop. They're going to. There's no reason they don't. The storytelling's there. It's just furthering the story of Dakota Kai and Io Sky, Alexa and Asuka. So that makes sense. Which leads to a showdown between the two teams, which ultimately I believe is won by Io Sky and Dakota Kai. They go to the championship thing. They've got a lot of heat on them right now. The crowd seems to like this new Bayley group. So there's no reason to slow them down. I don't think Asuka and Alexa Bliss are a long-term pair. I've said numerous times, I don't even think Alexa Bliss was originally intended to be a part of this group. I think she's playing the role of Becky Lynch right now. So on the other side of this bracket, I think we have Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. And I said earlier that they're paired together for a reason, and that reason is to protect Raquel Rodriguez, because I don't think that this group is making it out of the first round. I think that Shotzi and Xia Li are going to upset them. I think that Aaliyah is going to take the pin. I do believe it could start some kind of arc between Aaliyah and Raquel that once again just further makes, you know, Raquel look strong and she'll punish Aaliyah. And however, I'm not confident on the way that goes. But I do think Shotzi and Xia Li move out of the first round. Then I think Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark, I think they upset the heel team of Natalya and Sonya Deville. Natalya and Sonya Deville have zero reason to win that match. They don't need it. And if you have Shotzi and Xia Li, you need a face team. You need a fresh team to face them. So when you get there and you have the NXT girls and you have Shotzi and Xia Li, once again, I think the NXT girls take that match. And so now we have the NXT girls who now have put a ton of spotlight on the NXT product. And we have Dakota Kai and Io Sky. And I think that Io Sky and Dakota Kai walk out of the tag team champions and are immediately confronted by Sasha Banks and Naomi. And it sets up, I mean, beautifully a story for those two to come back to that has a ton of meaning. Because that's all they were ever looking for. They were looking for a story that had tons of meaning. So they come back, they're ready to go. And I think that it kind of writes itself. The NXT girls, they're not winning this tournament, but it gets them a ton of exposure and it gets eyes on them so they can go back to NXT and they take an audience with them. So if I don't think there's any other way you can write this. This is how it has to be written. You get a ton of exposure. You bleed out a ton of exposure for the NXT girls. And then you get the tag team titles on a credible tag team that has a little history now. And Sasha and Naomi come in, and now all of a sudden you have a women's tag team division that makes sense and can have some longevity.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Hey, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious Nerdy D. Don't be sure that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, power driver or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show. But you